world. Mama Voice is back with a brand new video, and I am so excited to come back to you all and do this video because this is a video that was per request. I was given a topic by one of my subscribers who is also a close friend, and they asked me to do a video on 50-50 relationships. So here we go. Let's get into it. All right. So when I think of 50-50, I always thought of 50-50 finances, paying your way, splitting things down the middle. And I'm not sure if that's how, everybody else thought of it, but it's definitely how I thought of it. And I once, of course, doing my research, I found that it's not just talking about finance. It's talking about the giving in the relationship. So I'm going to go into that. Let me adjust some things first. Yes. And I hope that this basically will definitely allow my subscribers to get insight on this topic. 50-50 relationship, balance, fairness, whatever you want to call it. Basically, a 50-50 split means each person gives the exact same amount of themselves fully. Partners base their giving on the sameness and equality rather than the needs of the relationship. Now, the thought process, I'm just imagining the person that basically asked me to do this video wanting to know my opinion on this topic. So I'm going to go ahead and give it to you. But I'm going to also give you the background as far as, what it's said to mean. And even when it comes to finances and why it may or may not work. Okay. And I've come across a lot of different insight in reference to this topic. So it got me to thinking, wow, people actually think, this is actually a thing. I never knew, that it was. I've always heard, I want to do things 50-50, meaning the man don't do everything, the woman doesn't do everything, we split everything in half or whatever. And I'm thinking bills, financial responsibility. Basically, it's more to it than that. A 50-50 household actually can work and does work in so many families, but the question is whether it makes us happy. If the 50-50 arrangement is working for you and your family and you're perfectly happy, then it's all good. You don't need to change anything. But if it's not working, then of course that means we need to try something different. Would it be a perfect relationship? My take on the whole 50-50, because when you're in a relationship with someone, hopefully it's somebody you love. It's not a business transaction or what have you. It's not a business. So we're not doing quid pro quo. If I do this, you do this, it shouldn't be that way. My opinion. Okay. I feel as though love is supposed to be a factor. And when you love someone, I can only speak for myself. When I love someone and I'm in a relationship with them, the only reason why I'll be in a relationship with someone is if I love them. And if I love someone, there is nothing that I wouldn't do for them or what have you. So, but that's my thought process. I am a hopeless romantic. I basically believe in, romance. I believe in having your partner's back. I I want to be able to be there for him in hopes that he will be there for me, of course. You know, so sometimes that in that sense, there will be times where there are times when we're not able to do what we always would want to do. We may want to do something for a person. We may want to be there for a person, but it may not always work out that way. Equality does not mean uniformity. Rather, it means that you both each other you give both each other's freedom to be who you are. While you grow together, ultimately you and your partner will have to define what equality is and what it should look like in your relationship. So if you're talking about having a 50-50 relationship, some things have to be discussed. Okay? Of course, the most common is splitting the bills. I grew up in a household where it was very traditional in a sense, where my father worked, my mother didn't. So, and that's how he wanted it. And the woman he married, which was my stepmother, she didn't mind it or what have you. You know, basically they got married where I was when I was very young. So I was a baby or whatever. So they needed someone at the house with 3 little girls, 3 little children. So it worked out. But as we got older, she never went to work. So he always brought home, provided, paid all the bills, took care of the house while she basically was the homemaker. So being raised in a household that way, my thought process is going to be different from an individual that grew up where both parents were working, because I don't know what that looks like. And I can relate now because I am a single mother, unfortunately, and I work full time taking care of, my household myself. So I have a different perspective. Ideally today, you would want someone to come in and help with half of the finances or what have you. But it's not just talking about finances. It's talking about household duties. It's talking about splitting the chores. It's talking about basically coming together and working everything out together, splitting everything down the middle. If I cook, you wash the dishes. If I clean the living room, you clean the bathrooms, you clean the rooms, or what have you. It's not the woman's doing all of the chores or the man's doing all of the chores. It's everything a collective together. We're doing things together. And that can work if both parties agree to that. Both parties have to, basically be on board with, helping out in the household. Each person, I may have a strong suit. I may be the person that can cook, and he may be the person that can clean really well. Or, vice versa. I may cook and clean, and he's just the handy person when stuff breaks down or what have you. It's just a matter of how you would basically connect with your significant other and work those things out. I don't believe that a relationship has to be 50-50. I think that if it works for you, then awesome, or what have you. And it's something that you would have to come together with your mate and decide. Okay. As always, there are some quotes. A relationship isn't always 50-50. Some days your partner will struggle. You suck it up and pick up that 80-20 because they need you, and that's love. So that's what I was kind of saying earlier. Sometimes there will be times when it can't be 50-50. Unfortunately, some people, somebody might be ill. Somebody, may not be feeling well and can't do what they're supposed to do. So what, the chores gonna go undone because they can't do them? You're just not gonna do them at all because, well, that's not what I'm supposed to do in the relationship. We had an agreement, you know. No, I mean, it's all about love. I think that 50-50 can come off selfish because you're only focused on what you're supposed to do, and then it can bring on animosity and resentment because, you know, if the person's not holding up their end of the bargain, now you're upset. And I don't feel like it should be that. That shouldn't come in to play in a relationship. I feel like each person should want to do for the other person. If there is any kind of thought process where you don't want to do for the person that you're with, then you don't need to be with that person. If there's, you need to be by yourself. I mean, if you don't want to do for the person that you're with, then why are you with them? You know, is it beneficial for you to be with them because of what they're bringing to the table? You know, and it's important for each party to bring something to the table. That is very important because I personally don't want to be with anyone that doesn't have anything to offer. It's pointless for me to be with anyone that doesn't have anything to offer or can't bring anything to the table. What's the point of me being with them? And I understand that part. We should come together and we should basically elevate one another. Okay, if I join forces with someone and I become, you know, part of a relationship with someone, that individual should not be bringing me down. I mean, I shouldn't be doing worse in the relationship than I was by myself. So, I mean, that's just a given. And that's partly why I'm single, because I do well. I do well, and I'm not willing to accept anything into my life that is not going to be beneficial. It's not going to help my situation. If it's going to hinder me, what's the point? You know, I'm not going to bring myself just because of, oh, I care about a person. No, it's all about, and let me make sure I make this clear. It's not about what the person can do for me, but at the end of the day, I don't want them to hinder me at all. It's not about what they can do because I'm doing well on my own. So it's not that I need them or what have you, but if they're in my life, I would want them to add to my life. I don't want them to subtract from my life. And I hope that come off, you know, better than how I think it's sounding. You could do bad by yourself. You know, I know plenty of people have heard that or what have you. So I don't want to get off topic. A relationship basically, and that's what mainly the quote is. A relationship isn't always 50-50. Some days your partner will struggle. You have to suck it up and pick up that 80-20 because they need you, and that's love. Oh my God. My grandmother told me relationships are work and they aren't 50-50. Some days when I get up, I only feel like giving 10%. Then your granddaddy has to give the 90% that day. But there is always 100% love. And that came from somebody's grandma or what have you. Relationships are only as good as the effort you put into them. Equal effort should come from both sides. And I honestly can agree with that. I can say it shouldn't be one-sided. And when I say that, it's such a broad topic because it can go all over the place. Relationships, basically, it shouldn't be one person always, you know, doing everything, or this person is always planning the dates. This person is always coming up with the ideas of how you all are going to enjoy yourselves or what have you. Or this person is always the one that is basically taking care of everything. And that can be, you know, wear a person out. You have to be thoughtful in a relationship. Think of the other person. If you see the other person needs something or what have you, of course, communication. I always say communication is the key or what have you. Say the person needs something or what have some things going on or working on a project or what have you, and have a lot of work to do for their job or whatever it is that they're dealing with, and they can't do what is needed as far as within the household because they have something pressing that they have to get accomplished for something else, maybe a job, let's say a job. So like I was saying earlier, so it's going to go undone. No, you have to pick up the slack. You have to have the person's back or what have you. And that's where I could say the 50-50 can become a gray area, only because if we're set on you're supposed to do this, I'm supposed to do this, and that's how it's going to be or what have you, I don't feel as though that can be beneficial. I don't think it's helpful if we're not willing to come together and be there for one another across the board. And it's not a business transaction. It's not. I mean, I'm with you. I love you. I care about you. So we may go out to eat. One person in the relationship shouldn't always be the one that always have to pay for dinner. No. If we're together, and I'm talking about we're in a relationship, we're married or whatever the case may be, we should be willing to, I pay for dinner, you pay for dinner. Either way, that should be worked out before we even go out. Are we going Dutch? Or are you paying? Am I paying? Or I pay for dinner, you pay for the movie? Or I pay for the movie, you pay for dinner? Even when we get to the movies, I pay for the snacks, you pay for the tickets for us to get in. That's how, I've always operated in that manner. When I was in a relationship, it wasn't always, the man didn't always pay everything or buy everything or spend, all the money. I basically have no problem with helping. That's crazy. Not to. If you pick up your clothes, then I would clean more. If you would spend more time with me, then I would plan fun things for us to do. If you weren't so cranky, then I wouldn't be so cranky. If then marriage cycle. So that's that if then. So, it's that if you would do this, then I'll do this. And I think that's what comes with the 50-50 thought process. I've never been in a 50-50 relationship thought process. We never discussed it. It was just common sense or common knowledge that we took care of each other, never thought about it. Marriage is not 50-50. Divorce is 50-50. Marriage has to be 100% and 100%. It's not about splitting everything in half, but giving everything you've got. And that's a quote by someone by the name of Dave Willis. So I agree, it's not 50-50, it's 100 and 100. You're going to give 100%. I'm going to give 100%. We're going to give 100% to each other. We're going to love one another. We're going to come together and we're going to make things work. Now, when it comes, like I said, if you stuck on finances and my money is my money, you're not ready for marriage, because when you get married, you become one. You become one household. You're living in one household or what have you. If you have that mentality that you don't even want to share with your wife, you don't even want to share with the person you're with, then why are you with them? Why? You need to be by yourself. You actually needs to be by yourself. If you have that mentality that you don't want to share, you feel as though that your money is your money or what have you, and their money is their money. I don't, I don't have a problem with my money being my money and his money being his money or what have you. But if we're together and he wants something and he doesn't have the money to get it, I'm going to get it. If I have it, if I'm able to, and it's not going to hurt anything as far as our bills, I've taken care of the bills. I've taken care of, as far as the bills, I know that we've paid the bills, the lights, everything's going, it's not going to hurt our budget. Then, and if it's coming from my side or whatever, or if I have the extra money to buy it, then if I see that I can get it for him, guess what? We're going to get it. It's just as simple as that. It's a matter, to me, I feel like it's a matter of communicating, talking about things. This is all something that should happen prior to, or while in the dating process before you get married or whatever. This is something that should be discussed or what have you. You should know her spending habits. You should know his spending habits. You should know the things that he likes to do or the things he likes to spend money on, and vice versa. Excuse me. Some people like to shop. And some people like to, pamper themselves. I like to get my hair done, get my nails done. It's, all of that costs, and all of that's a factor. He may like to go out and, hang out with the guys or whatever. And that's all good. We are here to live and enjoy ourselves. Just because you get in a relationship or with someone, that doesn't mean your life stops. The only thing that stops is maybe you interacting, not maybe. The only thing that should stop is you interacting with other people in a romantic way. And you should be basically, you should be dedicated and committed to the person you're with or what have you. But that's the only thing that should stop as far as when it comes to your relationship. You should still be able to go out and enjoy yourself. And you all don't always have to go and do things together. As long as it's understood that there's respect, and there's trust, then it shouldn't be an issue. You should still be able to do the things that you would normally do or what have you. Some things may have to change or what have you. And that's all based on the dialogue, all based on what's the comfort level within the relationship. And if you all have discussed things, then it shouldn't be an issue or what have you. And if, like I said, the spending habits, the chore habits in the household, all of those things plays a factor when you're living together, and when you become one or what have you, get married or what have you, then those are the things that, of course, you all should definitely talk about, and it should be understood. And if those things happen, there's an expectation of each person knows the other person's expectations, then it shouldn't be, but if it was a perfect world, there wouldn't be a divorce. There wouldn't be divorce. No such thing as divorce. So when it comes to the thought process of relationships being 50-50, I think that a relationship would only be strong if in a 50-50 environment, if the guidelines were mapped out by both individuals, the expectations were set by both individuals, and both individuals know that there's going to be times that we're going to miss the mark. We're not going to always meet those 50-50 guidelines, but it's okay that if it's 80-20 or 90-10 or 60-40 from time to time, it's not going to always be perfect down the middle split 50-50. If that's a break, that's a deal breaker, then, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, because no relationship is perfect. No two people are perfect or what have you. There's going to be times, and I feel like love has to be there. I have to love you. You have to love me to want to have my back regardless, no matter what. And if it comes down to certain things that's not happening in the relationship, or things aren't going the way, you're just dead set stuck on this 50-50 thing, and if something happens that it's not able to do that, we're not able to do it, then just know that there will be times when it's not possible. Okay. I just believe that relationships are give and take. Both sides. It's give and take. And one shouldn't be given all the time and the other is always taken all the time. No, and that's where the 50-50 should come in. There should be an equal amount of give and take. So, I mean, if I'm with someone, I'm going to give my 100%. I'm going to basically do my best because my desire is to make that person happy, clearly. And I would hope that be the same on their end. They want to make me happy. And it depends on the person that you're with. It doesn't take, for me, it doesn't take much to make me happy. So, but if you have, it depends on the individual. It really does. So I'd like to hear your comments. I would like to hear what you have to say about this topic or what have you. Feel free to comment below or what have you. And I may come back again with, some more insight on this topic or what have you. But I hope you like this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you would share this video. Hope you would subscribe to my channel, like my channel, subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video.